Greetings, ladies and gentlemen of the internet, Jan Michael here. Well, another round of reviews are over, which means it's time to talk about some predictions. These are my 2022 DICE Award predictions. Okay, got my list, let's go ahead and dive right on in. For the first category, we're taking a look at Outstanding Achievement in Animation. The nominees are Call of Duty Vanguard, Deathloop, Kena, Bridge of Spirits, Ratchet & Clank, Rift Apart, Resident Evil Village. So these first two categories, animation and art direction, I always have the hardest time with because I tend to get them flipped around. For animation, are they going to be going for the most realistic graphics, or are they going to be going for more of the artsy type? You know, you could have these very cartoony type of graphics, but it still look very beautiful. And then in art direction, are they going to go for that more cartoony type of style, or are they want to give it to more of that realistic, gritty look to it? So always have a hard time with these ones. For this year, I'm going to go Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart for animation. I believe out of all of them, that's probably the one that stands out the most in terms of its graphics and what the PS5 really could do with the product. However, it could also go to Kena. That also has a very unique look. Looks like a Pixar movie in video game form. So I could see the voters going that route as well. And if I'm completely wrong and they're going to go for more of the realistic look, you could easily make an argument with Call of Duty or even Resident Evil Village. So again, these two are definitely the hardest ones for me to predict, but I'm going to go Ratchet & Clank on the animation front. Following in tandem with what I just said, the next one is Outstanding Achievement in Art Direction. The nominees are Call of Duty Vanguard, Deathloop, Kena, Bridge of Spirits, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, Resident Evil Village. So again, you have pretty much the exact same lineup, and just pretty much copy and paste what I just said into this one. For this one, I'm gonna go Kena. I think with art, you tend to think of the unique style, the one that not necessarily has like the most realistic graphics, but the one that has the most unique. And I think, again, out of all of them, Kena's the one that sticks out. It looks like, as I just said, a Pixar movie in video game form. So I think the voters are going to focus more in that direction. Again, I could be wrong, and I could have gotten these flipped around. So just take that with a grain of salt. I'm not an expert with these two categories. I'm not going to pretend like I am when I don't. But that's what I have for you on these two. Okay, and with that nonsense out of the way, let's move on to Outstanding Achievement in Character. The nominees are Colt Vaughn from Deathloop, Kena from Kena, Bridge of Spirits, Alex Chen from Life is Strange, True Colors, Rivet from Ratchet & Clank, Rift Apart, Lady Dimitrescu for Resident Evil Village. I feel this has got to go to Lady Dimitrescu, right? I mean, she took the internet by storm. Like, everybody was talking about her. I still see a lot of cosplays done by those who really enjoyed the game and her character. But that being said, I will mention, I know a lot of people really talk very highly about Alex Chen as well. So I think if Lady Dimitrescu doesn't take it, I think Alex has a very strong possibility of going home with this award. So I think one or the other you can make that argument for. Moving right along, we have Outstanding Achievement in Original Music Composition. The nominees are Deathloop, It Takes Two, Kena, Bridge of Spirits, Psychonauts 2, Returnal. All vastly different from one another. For me, I'm going to go Deathloop. It has this very funky type of vibe to it, plus you have a lot of music there that has lyrics to it, which I think gravitates people's attention. But you could also make an argument for Returnal, just as an example. It has that very kind of sci-fi element to it, and a lot of people really tend to like that. It fits very well with the game itself. But for me, I'm gonna go the Deathloop route. I think again, just having that very funky rhythm that people tend to really enjoy, and again, the songs with the lyrics, that really is gonna get people's attention. Okay, pacing right along. Outstanding Achievement in Audio Design. The nominees are Forza Horizon 5, Halo Infinite, It Takes Two, Ratchet and Clank, Rift Apart, Returnal. Once again, all vastly different choices from each other, and you could really make an argument for any of these taking it. You got the revving of the engine, the races in Forza Horizon 5. You got that kind of futuristic sounds of Halo Infinite, Returnal, even Ratchet and Clank fit that bill. And then It Takes Two also has some very good sounds in it. For me, I'm gonna go Returnal, just because I think it's the most sci-fi-est sounds of them all. I think even more so than Halo or Ratchet. And because of its world and the alien nature of it all, I think it has the best sounds out of all of these. It's really well done. But again, you could make the arguments for any of these taking it. I think they all have very strong claims to the win as well. Next up, we have Outstanding Achievement in Story. The nominees are Before Your Eyes, The Forgotten City, Inscription, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, Psychonauts 2. Also some really good choices here. You would probably think Inscription, and yes, that is where my vote is going to go, but just because it's also nominated for Game of the Year doesn't mean it takes its individual categories. You could very much make an argument for The Forgotten City, which has a very, very good story attached to it. Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, I could see this one pulling off a surprise win. That is the one element that everyone really liked about that game. Psychonauts 2 also handles its subject material very well and very respectably, so that's also worthy of a shout out there. But yes, I am going to go with Inscription because it does that kind of meta-narrative, and it's very unique in how it presents its story, so I'm going to go that route. I think it's the most deserving. But again, I'm going to repeat myself. You could really make a strong argument for any of these. Outstanding Technical Achievement. The nominees are Battlefield 2042, Forza Horizon 5, Mon Cage, Ratchet and Clank, Rift Apart, Returnal. Gonna go with Ratchet and Clank, and the reason for it is because one of the biggest pushes for the title leading up to its release was how fluidly it moved with those rift systems. You know, it's basically opening up worlds into different dimensions and doing it without any load times needed. And that was a really big push for proving what the PS5 could do. So I think that's really going to be in the forefront on a lot of people's minds. So very confidently going with Ratchet and Clank on this one. Action Game of the Year. The nominees are The Ascent, Deathloop, Halo Infinite, Metroid Dread, Returnal. I'm gonna go with Returnal, but I think this is one that you should greatly consider maybe Metroid Dread taking it. A lot of people really enjoying that one. And I know, again, it's not nominated for Game of the Year, but Returnal is. But especially with these type of categories, again, repeating myself, but they don't always win their individual categories, if you will. So I think you can make a strong argument for Metroid Dread. You could also say maybe Deathloop as well, because that one's also nominated for Game of the Year. I think more people liked Returnal, though, so that's why I'm kind of shifting my vote that way. But yeah, you can go multiple ways here as well. Adventure Game of the Year. The nominees are Death's Door, It Takes Two, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, Psychonauts 2, Resident Evil Village. These are getting tough. I'm going to go with It Takes Two, and the reason for it is I think it has a really good shot at taking Game of the Year as well. It took home Game of the Year at the Game Awards, and even though it's not really the same voting party, I think it still has a really good shot here as well. But, you know, I love Death's Door. I would love to see that one take it. Psychonauts 2, also very well done. I would love to see that one take it. Resident Evil Village, I didn't like it. I didn't love it, I should say. But I know a lot of other people did, so that wouldn't be a ginormous surprise. Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy is the other one that I don't think could sneak the win, but I guess it wouldn't be completely unreasonable. But that being said, if I'm going to be pushing It Takes Two, I'm going to go for it here as well. Family Game of the Year. The nominees are Animal Crossing, New Horizons, Happy Home Paradise, Cozy Grove, Mario Party Superstars, Ratchet and Clank, Rift Apart, WarioWare, Get it together. Well, this one's probably one of the easiest ones. It's Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. This one stands out way above all the others. I don't think we need to really go into any argument about what could possibly take it other than this one. Fighting Game of the Year. The nominees are Guilty Gear Strive, Melty Blood, Type Lumina, Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl. Hey, for once we don't have some big fighter like Injustice or Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter ruining it for the people that don't have a chance. So, hey, great. I'm gonna go Guilty Gear Strive. I know that's also a very big series and probably the one that maybe sticks out more than any of the others. I guess you can make an argument for Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl, although I heard it wasn't fantastic. I didn't get a chance to play this one myself, but I heard it was fine. Then again, sometimes the DICE Awards do like to give it to that weird choice, like the cartoony ones a lot. So I don't think it's completely out of the realm of possibility to think Nickelodeon could take it, but I'm gonna go Guilty Gear Strive this time. Racing Game of the Year. The nominees are F1 2021, Forza Horizon 5, Hot Wheels Unleashed. This is the easiest one. Forza Horizon 5. It's a done deal. We can move on now. It's a done deal. Role-Playing Game of the Year. The nominees are Final Fantasy XIV, Endwalker, Pathfinder, Wrath of the Righteous, Shin Megami Tensei 5, Tales of Arise, Wildermyth. Another pretty easy one. This is definitely going to Final Fantasy XIV Endwalker. People couldn't get into the server. They had to stop selling the game just because how popular it was. No other title among these got close to anything like that. So yeah, it's an easy win for Final Fantasy here. Sports Game of the Year. The nominees are EA Sports FIFA 22, Mario Golf Super Rush, NBA 2K22, Riders Republic, The Climb 2. Sports game is always an odd one just because they don't always give it to the best sports games. They normally give it to the Nintendo one. And because of that, I'm going to go Mario Golf Super Rush. That being said, EA Sports FIFA 22 has taken it home the most out of any of the other sports games, so you could always make that argument as well. And then, there's things like Riders Republic, and if that one could surprise. I don't know what the ultimate consensus is on it, but again, I don't know. The DICE Awards usually likes to give it to the Nintendo game on this one, so I'm just going to follow suit with that pattern. Strategy Simulation Game of the Year. The nominees are Age of Empires 4, Gloomhaven, Griftlands, Inscription, Loop Hero. I have no idea what any of the other ones are like. I mean, obviously I know like Age of Empires 4 and I know Loop Hero, but I haven't really played them. And I have no idea about Gloomhaven or Griftlands, so I'm just completely oblivious there. So I'm going to go with the one that I did play and is also nominated for Game of the Year, Inscription. And I know it doesn't always go to the respective categories, as I said, but I really have nothing else to go off of here. Next up, we get to the VR categories, and we're starting off with Immersive Reality Technical Achievement. The nominees are Lone Echo 2, Puzzling Places, Resident Evil 4 VR, Song in the Smoke, Yuki. So this first one is for the technical achievement of it, not just the VR game of the year. Sometimes they go hand in hand, like last year with the Half-Life. That one very easily, just very impressive technical wise and very impressive game. I think this year is gonna follow suit with Resident Evil 4 VR. But that being said, I don't know a lot of these other ones, so I could be wrong in the technical aspect portion of it. But I think Resident Evil is just too well a name to really go anywhere else with it. And as I just mentioned, the next one is Immersive Reality Game of the Year. The nominees are Demio, I Expect You to Die 2, Lone Echo 2, Resident Evil 4 VR, Song in the Smoke. Yep, just gonna go with Resident Evil 4 VR. Just look at what I just said and you'll understand why. Next up, Outstanding Achievement for an Independent Game. The nominees are Death's Door, Inscription, Loop Hero, Sable, Unpacking. Definitely feeling Inscription here. Although, again, freaking love Death's Door as well. I would love to see that one take it, but there's no denying what Inscription did was very special. So I think this one's very easily going to go this route. Next up is the bane of every true gamer's existence, Mobile Game of the Year. The nominees are Behind the Frame, Fantasian, League of Legends, Wild Rift, Moncage, Pokemon Unite. I don't really play mobile games. I'm not one of those true bros or true gamers that completely despise mobile games. I just don't have as much fun with them. So really my pick on this is just based on what other people are saying. And with that being said, League of Legends Wild Rift. First, it's gotten the best reviews out of all of these. And second, it's League of Legends. I mean, not only is it insanely popular, but you also had the TV show, the Netflix TV show that came out not that long ago that everybody fucking loved. So I really think this is going to be a clear out League of Legends win here. Online Game of the Year. The nominees are Back 4 Blood, Call of Duty Vanguard, Final Fantasy XIV Endwalker, Halo Infinite, Knockout City. I was originally going to go with Halo Infinite just because of how it blew up when it first came out, but it has very much decreased in the online player count. I hear a lot of the modes get very repetitive after a while, and so that player base has definitely dipped. Meanwhile, I think you can still make a really good argument that Final Fantasy XIV Endwalker has not. I mean, it's not as crazy as when it came out. They had to fucking stop selling the game for a little bit, but nobody has said, oh, it's decreased because, you know, it's boring or anything like that. There's no feedback like that. So for me, I think, again, another easy win for Final Fantasy. Though I guess you could still make the argument that Halo Infinite just had such a strong coming out of the gate that maybe it's what people will remember, but I don't think it's going to go that route. All right, coming down to the end of it here, let's move on to Outstanding Achievement in Game Design. The nominees are Deathloop, Inscription, It Takes Two, Loop Hero, Ratchet & Clank, Rift Apart. Oof, another tough one. Really, you can make a lot of arguments here. I mean, Inscription, the design of it, just fucking the card game system is already fucking brilliant. But what the game does on top of that, very, very well done and very fascinating. I guess you could also make like Ratchet & Clank with the different weapon designs and how each weapon really makes you look at battle a different way. And that itself is a very, very good design. And then that's just the weapon design. You also have to take into account the tethering system that you can warp from place to place. Again, just all very well done. Deathloop and Loop Hero, I think, are too similar in concept, if you will, to really come out ahead of this one. But for me, I'm gonna go with It Takes Two. Not because this is like the first game where you've had to play the entire thing with a buddy or anything like that, or even like a co-op game, but because of the nature of the game and how it constantly throws new things at you. Like this starts off like as a platformer, and then at one point they give you so many different mechanics. There's one time where you have to like shoot like the goo while the other person makes it explode. It becomes a fucking fighter at one point. There's so many things that the game tackles that I don't see how you can not think of game design when you're thinking of It Takes Two. So I think it's really gonna go that route for this award. All right, the penultimate one, Outstanding Achievement in Game Direction. The nominees are The Artful Escape, Deathloop, Inscription, It Takes Two, Ratchet & Clank, Rift Apart. Again, you could make that argument that It Takes Two with what it does is very unique with the way it approaches its game. But I'm gonna go with Inscription just because I think that has a more heavy-hitting narrative and the way the game proceeds I think that's what a lot of people are going to be thinking about in terms of its game direction. I could be wrong though. This is another one where I may be thinking the complete opposite what all the voters are thinking. So if you have a different set of mind, I completely understand. And of course, Game of the Year. The nominees are Deathloop, Inscription, It Takes Two, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, Returnal. Okay, so by just pure nominations, Ratchet & Clank is leading the pack. It has 9. It's definitely just about everywhere. In terms of the underdog, it actually falls on 2 with 5 apiece, Inscription and Returnal. That being said, we've seen the underdog take it with Untitled Goose Game. So don't count out the underdog. If you're like, oh, well, those two definitely not taking it, just hold on a second. I could very well see Inscription take the win here. I wouldn't be surprising. I don't think Deathloop is going to take it. I think out of all of these, it's the one that most people had the most problems with, I should say. And again, not that it was absolutely hated, got nominated for Game of the Year, but I think a lot more people found faults with that one. So I think that's really the one that's least likely to win. And you've got It Takes Two, which, again, it won Game of the Year at the Game Awards. And again, even though that one's more like a popularity contest than anything, you could very well make the argument that, the industry is also going to think that way. So I'm going to stick with It Takes Two. I really, really like that game. It's not my favorite amongst the list. I wouldn't mind seeing Inscription taken home. I think that one's probably my favorite out of these 5. But there's no denying the fun that I had and was able to share that with my wife. And it's really an experience that I look back on very fondly. So I would like to see It Takes Two take the win. And yeah, that's really all I have to say about that. And those are my 2022 DICE predictions. Yeah, the awards are tomorrow, so very, very, very excited. I'm going to do a reaction, yes, and I'm not going to fuck it up like I did with the anime awards. I will be seeing it live, I promise you. Again, you might not see that reactions video until the day after, and at worst, the day after that. So please give me some time. I am going to be working on it. Yes, very excited. What about you guys? What do you think is going to win? What would you like to see win? What got snubbed? I always like seeing those opinions, so please let me know what you guys thought in the comments below. Like always, please stay safe out there, everyone. And until next time, have a good one.